Yes, everybody, Russ and the West Ham Network. Hope you are all safe and well. If you're new and here, give it a like, give it a comment, give it a share, give it a subscribe. Lunchtime today, we had our Have Your Say Friday, as we usually do, speaking about all things 𝙍𝙀𝙋𝙊𝙍𝙏, we're going to talk about in a minute. Thomas Soucek, we're going to talk about in a minute. And if you're a channel member, go back and check out that, because we did a big giveaway at the end, thanks to our friends at 𝙍�13 Events. For some tickets for the Jimmy Walker night next week of his book launch. But it's, as I said, Hammers headlines in association with the KUMBs.com boys. 3 stories as per usual. Let's get into it and talk about Lucas Paqueta for a change, shall we? So Lucas is been in the news quite a bit. With news that the FA want to throw the book at him, and the hiring or not hiring of Nick DeMarco, the Leicester City lawyer, or the lawyer who's involved in the Leicester City case. Lucas himself played for Brazil against Chile yesterday. He started in their 2-1 win over Chile in the World Cup qualifiers, which was much needed. They've had quite an indifferent start. Incidentally, Mikel Antonio was an unused substitute for their 2-0 Jamaican boys, Reggae Boys 2-0 win over Nicaragua. But it is it could mean that Lucas is actually flying back to Brazil sooner than next November's international break. We've got another international break in a few weeks' time. Brazil will play Peru on Tuesday, then he comes back. We've got Spurs, and then at the end of the month he could be going back out to Brazil. He has been told to appear at a game manipulation and sports hearing on the 29th of October, and that's according to 𝙍𝙀𝙋𝙊𝙍𝙏. The Brazilian news outlet reported yesterday that Paqueta, who's obviously currently in Brazil on international duty, has been summoned to appear at a hearing by Brazil's Parliamentary Commission of Inquiry. And we'll hear testimonies from Lucas after Senator 𝙍𝙀𝙋𝙊𝙍𝙏 declared, that can't be his name, declared an official summons to the Hammers midfielder after his respected FA charges. Obviously, we know that it's about last season. Reports have surfaced about irregular bookings and strange betting patterns around that. Now the Hammers have, we've been developing contingency plans. I think someone noted yesterday that the loan signing of Carlos Soler could well be a contingency plan, and we've been linked to some other number 10s as well, it seems. Lucas has been one of the key men for this new Julian Lopetegui era, and has been a talisman over the last couple of years. As I said, the hearing is going to be on the 29th of October, which could set into motion a period where he is unavailable potentially. The hearing is sandwiched between 2 Premier League games, which are, probably should have got these to start off with though. So obviously in between, let me just bring this up. Bear with. So so we play Man United on the 27th on the Sunday, and if he's due, and so I imagine he'll probably play that game and then go to Brazil for the 29th, because obviously he could go straight after, but obviously he'll have that playing in his mind. And then he's got Nottingham Forest, and we've got Nottingham Forest on the 2nd. So it's in between there. So there is time for him to go and come back, but we might be preparing for those 2 games, or maybe the Nottingham Forest game, without Nicholas Fulkrug, might not be Nicholas Fulkrug as well, but without Lucas Paqueta potentially. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, we know that March is the FA hearing, or when that's due to happen. So it feels like it's all piling on top. So I can understand himself. Yesterday was sort of this colour out about. Yesterday was Mental Health Day, and it can't help him at all for his mental health. But yeah, it does seem to be. And then after Nottingham Forest, I think we play Everton at home, and then we've got the other international break. So you're probably going back to Brazil after that. So it's going to be a lot of air miles for Lucas over the next few weeks, it seems. As I said, we spoke about Thomas Soucek in the lunchtime live, as always. It does seem to be a contentious discussion in terms of Thomas. But that discussion coincided with the discussion about Lucas Paqueta and what could happen potentially. It has been reported in several news articles that West Ham have been keeping an eye on Pavel Sulc. The 23-year-old has scored 18 goals in 29 games for 𝙍𝙀𝙋𝙍 last season. Incredible numbers considering he's playing as a number 10. Now, he's also got 6 caps for his country. We know about, how much of a good example, Thomas Soucek and Vladimir Sufa are. They're training on their off days. They always give their all, and it could be lightning strikes a third time with another Czech boy coming in. Apparently, Spurs and Villa are also interested in the player, who's also on the radar for several other top clubs in Europe. But given their president for signing the best talents in the Chance Liga, that's the Czech league, the free scoring midfielder would be an obvious signing for West Ham, surely, particularly with Daniel Krasinski still in charge, or not in charge, but the second highest stakeholder at the club. Vladimir likely to leave in the summer, but Thomas, unless would probably be around for a good couple more seasons, to be honest. As I said, he's already got a pile of goals this season as well. He got 5 in 10 as well. And although, again, there is Lucas, there is Carlos Soler, but Carlos being only on loan signing with no option or obligation to buy could indicate that either we're looking elsewhere or it might be something which we don't see him next season in a West Ham shirt. For me, someone like Pavel seems far much more a viable option potentially. Whether it'll be a January or a summer move, I think it's more like maybe a summer move potentially. But you could see, he's a very dynamic player, and he knows where the back of the net is. A bit like Thomas Soucek. Thomas Soucek knows where the back of the net is. Let's be honest. It'd be fascinating to see, particularly that 10 berth. And I wouldn't think he'd cost a tremendous amount of money as well, which is again something which could liken him to a move to West Ham potentially. Also, in the next summer, we may well have money for Kudus potentially coming, and maybe Paqueta if he stays. You never know if he hasn't been banned. Other clubs might be coming in for him. And he's one of those sort of. Pavel's got a bit of a pearl diver look about him. Not he's a pearl diver, but he's that sort of in an unfancied league. He's not high profile, but he's scoring goals. And if he fits the right profile, obviously we've got Moritz Steiden, Tim's brother, who is head of international scouting. Could be. And lastly, back to the Premier League. West Ham apparently are interested in Leicester City centre-half Caleb Okoli, who the Foxes only signed themselves from Atalanta in the summer for £10 million. But his form has really impressed his homeland in terms of Italy, being called up to the Italian squad for this international break. And several news outlets report that West Ham, Newcastle and Spurs have been scouting the 23-year-old, who is apparently, and the quote is, an aerial threat in both boxes. I don't know how you could be a threat in the defensive box. So you're a deterrent. You're a threat in the attacking box, and you're a deterrent in the defensive box. But anyway, he's a big lad. He's physically, he's got the attributes to really flourish in the Premier League. I think the best teams in the Premier League are going to be looking at particularly those who have just been promoted. Like it is, they've got a bigger chance of going down than staying up potentially, and seeing what can work for them. Ipswich as well. I think if Ipswich went down, I think Jacob Greaves would go. I think Liam Delap would go. I think Leif Davis would potentially go as well. And maybe if Leicester doesn't work out for them, Caleb could be going as well. Very athletic player, very fast. Someone apparently we were looking at when he was at Atalanta as well. But now, obviously, with Premier League experience under his bag, could be very, very interesting. Particularly when you look at the likes of, Soufal potentially leaving. We've got, Emerson's not getting any younger. There's options, centre halves as well. Mavropanos, third choice. He can play a number of positions, can Caleb as well. So again, it'll be interesting to see what happens in the summer. But we apparently are keeping an eye out for him, whatever that may mean. Oh, wrong button. And that's it, my friends. Thank you very much for your time. As always, don't forget to like, comment, share. As I said, if you're a channel member, please go back and watch our live show, even if it's the last few minutes, just to see if you've won. Because it's going to be a cracking night with Jimmy Walker next week. And if you've won a free ticket, congratulations. Don't forget to also check out neithermybrand.com for latest news, reviews, and opinions. Until then, take care. Stay safe. Stay warm. Stay humble. Keep the faith, my friends. And come on, you bloody, bloody irons. Much love. Irons!